Global TV News Express. Federal government to release 11.9 billion naira for doctors' arrears. In business, Power Minister says 10,000 megawatts locked up in idle plant. On the foreign scene, 21 dead, over 30 missing after heavy rains in Kenya. And in sports, Nasarawa United, Abia Warriors brace up for fierce top-table battles. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. And now, the news in details. The federal government has announced plans to release 11.9 billion naira within 72 hours to settle part of the salary and allowances owed to medical professionals across the country. The announcement comes hours after the National Association of Resident Doctors began an indefinite strike over what it describes as the government's failure to meet its demands. Head of Information and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Alaba Balogun, confirmed the development in a statement on Saturday. Now, residents of the Federal Capital Territory FCT are lamenting over the unprecedented hardship as rental prices surge. Tenants report staggering prices increase in the housing sector as the cost of living has taken a new turn. Our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu, has the details.
The Nigerian capital, Abuja, once known for its affordable housing and well-planned districts, is now among the most expensive cities to live in West Africa. But what's driving these rent hikes? From high-rise apartments in the center of Abuja to modest flats in most areas, one thing is clear. Rent and property prices have skyrocketed, rising by more than 100% in some areas in less than 2 years. Nigerians attribute the rent on inflation and naira devaluation, which have pushed the cost of building materials to record highs.
High cost of building materials in the market. A bag of cement was sold last 2 years for 4,500 and or even less. But now we are getting it for almost 10,000 naira. At least with that, you'll see that the cost of building houses now in Abuja is very, very on the high side.
Now that things are very expensive, things are on the high side in the market. You get, like, you say, okay, I just start building that property now and I'm going to buy cement. Cement is like, okay, on the high side, and then all these materials, building materials are high. But these properties, you've made gain because it has been there for ages. So now what's the main reason? I just want to understand, what is the main reason that landlords and caretakers are increasing the price?
There you have it, mixed reactions trailing the surge in affording a rent in the nation's capital. The appeal is for the government to intervene, especially in the satellite towns for the citizenry. Sadia Yakubu, Global Television.
Media, once a space for foreign connection, has grown into one of the most powerful tools shaping the world worldwide. But with the influence of that comes consequences. From empowering small businesses to affecting mental health, social media is changing how people think, live, and interact, both for better and worse. Again, our correspondent Sadia Yakubu takes a deeper look at the impact of social media on individuals and the society.
Social media is everywhere on the phones, in our homes, shaping communication and understand the world around. It bridges borders, drives conversations, and often sparks change. From business growth and political engagement to digital education and health awareness, it's transforming nearly every aspect of modern life, but there is another side. Misinformation spreads rapidly, disrupting elections, influencing public health discussions, and sometimes endangering peace.
The good side of social media is that you get connected to people positively, and at the other side again, you get connected to people negatively.
Social media has also been linked to rising cases of anxiety, depression, and body image issues, especially among young people who struggle with the pressure to live up to a filtered, picture perfect reality.
It has impacted the world positively, created businesses, created the interconnection between people, and made people more better off.
Cyberbullying, online harassment, and echo chambers are becoming all too common, affecting mental well-being and how we view ourselves and others. Social media is not inherently good or bad.
Yeah, negative impact like 70%, positive impact like 30%. See, most people now think social media is real. It's a myth, it's not real.
Social media is not inherently good or bad. It is a tool. Depends on its impact, depends on how we choose to use it. Whether it builds or breaks, uplifts or undermines is ultimately.
We need to be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves, but also how individuals choose to engage with them. Are we prioritizing genuine connections over superficial interactions? Are we critically evaluating the information we consume on social media? Social media is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or ill. Sadia Yakubu, Global Television.
Drug Law Enforcement Agency NDLEA says its operatives have uncovered a clandestine laboratory where Colorado, a synthetic strain of cannabis, is being produced in a residential building located in Ajao Estate, Isolo, Lagos State. NDLEA said its operative recovered large quantities of freshly cooked kolos and various precursor chemicals used in drug production. This was announced in a statement by Femi Babafemi, Director of Media and Advocacy, NDLEA Headquarters, Abuja, disclosing that the 30-year-old lab owner, Stephen Kelechi Imo, was arrested. In a related development, the National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, says it has destroyed no fewer than 80 containers of fake and substandard medicine and food as part of its nationwide enforcement drive. The Director of Investigation and Enforcement, Chairman, Federal Task Force, NAFDAC, Martin Iluyumade, made this known in a press briefing to hint the public about a recent attack on its official at the Trade Fair Market in Lagos. He stated that over the years, the agency has battled a persistent challenge of fake, substandard, and counterfeit medicines and food items flooding the Nigerian markets, particularly in major commercial hubs like Lagos. Let's talk politics, where in preparation for the forthcoming governorship election in Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke has appeared before the People's Democratic Party, PDP, screening committee. The exercise is part of the party's internal process to ensure all aspirants meet the required standard before the primaries. Our correspondent, Ubong Usoro, reports.
Governor Adeleke arrived at the PDP National Secretariat in Abuja to undergo the mandatory screening process, accompanied by some members of his cabinet and supporters. The governor expressed confidence in the screening committee and commended the party's leadership for ensuring transparency. The screening, according to the PDP National Working Committee, is aimed at strengthening internal democracy and ensuring that only credible candidates emerge ahead of governorship election. Governor Adeleke, who is seeking re-election, pledged to continue his administration's development agenda and consolidate on the gains made in education, infrastructure, and workers' welfare in Osun State.
And now we have become governor within 2 years of president. What we have achieved in less than 2 years.
With the screening exercise being concluded, all eyes are now on the PDP primary as Governor Adeleke prepares to test his popularity within the party once again. Party officials assured that the process would be fair, transparent, and in line with the PDP's constitution. Ubong Usoro, reporting for Global Television.
Has rejected United States President Donald Trump's decision to label Nigeria a country of particular concern over alleged persecution of Christians. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the claims of religious genocide are misleading and do not reflect Nigeria's realities, emphasizing that citizens of all faiths coexist peacefully. Spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kemibe Ebenfa, added that Nigeria will continue to engage the United States diplomatically to deepen understanding of its efforts towards peace and national unity. In the meantime, the Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Policy Communication, Daniel Bwala, says President Bola Tinubu and United States President Donald Trump will meet in the coming days to address claims of Christian genocide in Nigeria. Bwala's statement follows Trump's recent remarks accusing the Nigerian government of ignoring attacks on Christians, a claim that has sparked widespread debate. The United States President has threatened to launch a strike in Nigeria and wipe out terrorists, he said, were killing Christians in the country. The Senior Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Community Engagement North Central, Dr. Abiodun Esiet, says Nigeria can achieve lasting peace and prosperity through unity and strengthened social cohesion among diverse groups. She stated this at a community workshop and inauguration of community-based peace structures in Benue State. Our Benue State correspondent, Felicity Indere, reports.
The workshop, organized by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement, North Central, in collaboration with the International Communities Organization and the North Central Development Commission, brought together key stakeholders to deepen peace efforts across Benue State.
To take the center stage of shaping our community's peace structure, you have been carefully selected, brought together in collaboration with the federal government in addressing the prevailing criminal activities in our communities.
Dr. Abiodun Esiet at the event explained that the structures will also serve as grassroots information channels, ensuring communities remain connected to the federal government programs and national development policies.
The federal government is just putting a structure for sustainability, showing that Mr. President is concerned about sustaining peace in Benue State and is also ready to support the state government in making sure that there is a lasting peace in Benue State. But first, understanding the concerns. So we are here, people have shared concerns and they will be given the opportunity to share concerns, and we'll work with them to see how we address those concerns in partnership with other stakeholders that are here.
Participants, including traditional rulers, women groups and religious leaders, pledged to work together to advance peace and development.
Why is it that people are still being killed? And we come to sit down and talk about peace and everybody claps. People are still dying. People can't go to their farms. Women can't go to the stream. Why are results not coming? You hear about MACBAN, you hear about Noyetiala, you hear about JNI. JNI is a religious organization, I suppose. They are the brothers and sisters of these herdsmen who come from the bush to kill us.
Our president, our father, our husband, that the governor of Benue State is trying very well to ensure that there should be peace. But because of what is happening outside, by these people that are coming there, we don't know where they are coming. They are from the bush. I'm from West, very prone to it. The road is not passable at all.
I want to thank you and also assure you that we will participate fully and also ensure that we support all the processes that are going to be laid down here today.
Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia, represented by his deputy Sam Odi, commended the initiative, noting that it aligns with the administration's commitment to peace and stability.
I want to say that the issues of insecurity, we are working on them as a state. We are doing so consciously in collaboration with the federal government. There are platforms that have been created to address most of these issues.
With the new peace structures across the 23 local governments of the state, stakeholders aim to strengthen collaboration, address conflicts, and promote peaceful coexistence for a safer and more united.
Now, once considered a symbol of modesty, clothing today has become a flashpoint between tradition and modernity. Across communities, the debate of indecent dressing continues to stir conversations about morality, identity, and cultural values. Our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu has the details.
Commonly defined as the act of wearing clothes that reveals parts of the body which traditionally expected to be covered in public. Though definitions vary by culture, religion, and personal values, it is generally viewed as dressing in a way that contradicts accepted standards of modesty. Fashion is a form of self-expression, but when personal freedom clashes with cultural values, that's where the debate begins. What is considered decent in one society might be seen as inappropriate in another. The concern arises when certain forms of dress are seen to encourage moral decline or disrespect for societal norms.
Indecent dressing is improper dressing, of which that is common to ladies these days. Also men as well, but it is too common in the life of ladies.
Schools, religious institutions, and workplaces are often the first to enforce dress codes. Many argue that these codes help maintain disciplines, order, and respect, but critics say they can be oppressive or outdated, especially when disproportionately targeting women or youth.
On a larger scale, when you dress to reveal parts of your body that are supposed to be covered, whether male or female, is indecent.
For some, indecent dressing is linked to rising cases of harassment, distraction in educational institutions, and even more decay. Others argue that focusing too much on clothing shifts attention away from much more pressing social issues such as education, poverty, and gender-based violence.
In Islam, decent dressed is well established. In fact, the second revelation after the first one that talk on knowledge, the second revelation talk about decent dress, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ. Your clothes, make sure you purify it. You dress decently.
Our faith teaches modesty as a virtue, not to shame individuals, but to promote respect for the body as sacred. We believe society must educate, not condemn. True decency starts from the heart and reflects outwardly.
As society evolves, so does the definition of decency. Finding balance between the freedom of expression and respect for cultural values remains a challenge. True change may begin not with what we wear, but with how we choose to see and respect one another. Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express return, police says nothing to suggest a terrorist attack in Hoddington train incident. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break. And now to business news, where the trend of micro and small businesses in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, is becoming alarming, defacing the city and making it more of a marketplace than the administrative capital it was designed to be. This phenomenon has not only become a commonplace all over Abuja, but is fast redefining the perception of the city by both residents and visitors. Sadia Yakubu provides insight on the dynamics of hawking and its implications.
The practice of selling goods on the streets or along roads has become an increasingly visible feature in Abuja, despite the city's status as a planned urban center with strict regulations. Hawking persists as a daily survival strategy for many. At the Federal Secretariat, for instance, business of food items and other household commodities is patronized by people who work in the area. Although hawking is prohibited in the city center, many of the vendors, especially young people and women, resort to selling items such as snacks, drinks, electronics and clothing due to lack of gainful employment opportunities. Respondents speak on major factors driving this trend.
My own problem is say as the country they had, may they just allow us more they manage our life they go. Anything what we see, more just they manage to survive with our children.
As women in the society, in the community, so we are strong to feed our children. But the task what they are always disturbing us.
People from less developed regions migrate to Abuja in search of better livelihoods, often end up in setting up small businesses like hawking and selling of items for survival. Street hawking in Abuja reflects broader socio-economic challenges. While regulatory enforcement is necessary, long-term solutions must address poverty, unemployment, and inclusive urban planning. Sadia Yakubiahia, Global Television.
Despite Nigeria's persistent lack of electricity, over 10,000 megawatts of electricity are being wasted across different idle plants scattered across the country. Nigeria's Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, decried the country's wastefulness in the energy sector, revealing that more than 10 gigawatts of generation capacity remain stranded nationwide, while millions of citizens live in darkness. Speaking at the just concluded Nigeria Energy Conference in Lagos, the minister said the country's immediate problem is not generation, but the inability to transmit and distribute energy already available. And now to news making rounds on the foreign scene, where at least 21 people have been confirmed dead and more than 30 others are still missing after a devastating landslide hit Kenya's west region overnight. The tragedy occurred in Marakwet East following heavy rainfall that triggered flash flood and mudslides across the region. Our correspondent has the details. Massive torrents of water swept through villages in Marakwet East, flattening homes and destroying farmlands. Authorities say the landslide began in the early hours of Saturday, catching many residents in their sleep. Search and rescue teams, including volunteers and emergency responders, walked through the morning to recover bodies and locate survivors. Kenya's Interior Minister confirmed the loss of 21 lives and said over 30 people remain unaccounted for. He announced that the operation was suspended overnight due to poor visibility, but will resume at daybreak. The Kenyan Red Cross has shared aerial images showing the widespread scale of destruction, with mudslides and flash floods stretching over vast areas. Emergency shelters have been set up for displaced families as rescue teams intensify efforts to reach cut-out communities. Authorities are appealing to residents living on steep slopes to relocate immediately as the rain continues. Kenya's government says preventing further tragedy is now the top priority. As rescue operations continue, families across the Marakwet East are left counting their losses, hoping for answers, and mourning loved ones lost to nature's fury. Mukhtar Qasim, reporting for Global Television News. To the United Kingdom, where British police are investigating a mass stabbing aboard a London-bound train on Saturday night. Several passengers were injured and 2 suspects have been arrested. Authorities say there is nothing to suggest terrorism. Our correspondent gives us the details. The attack happened around 7:40 p.m. on a train from Doncaster to London's King Cross. The train made an emergency stop at Huntingdon Station, where armed officers quickly boarded and detained 2 men within minutes. 10 people were hospitalized, though most have now been released. 2 victims remain in critical condition.
Is here good, ladies and gents? Bit closer. Good. 10 people were taken to hospital by ambulance and another person self-presented later that evening. While 9 were initially believed to have life-threatening injuries, following assessment and treatment, 4, thankful to say, have been discharged. However, 2 patients remain in a life-threatening condition. British Transport Police declared a major incident yesterday, and counter-terrorism policing were initially supporting our investigation. However, at this stage, there is nothing to suggest that this is a terrorist incident.
Police confirmed both suspects were born in the United Kingdom and appealed for calm amidst false claims circulating online. Prime Minister Keir Starmer called the attack deeply concerning, while King Charles said he was appalled and shocked. Train services through Hoddington remain disrupted as investigations continue. Knife crimes have surged across England and Wales in recent years, fueling public concern and prompting call for tougher laws and community engagement. Where the Nigeria Premier Football League enters another decisive weekend as two headline fixtures take center stage, with Rivers United hosting league leaders Nasarawa United in Port Harcourt and Niger Tornadoes welcoming in-form Abia Warriors to Minna. Both matches carry significant weight in the title race, with all four teams eager to assert their dominance as the season gathers pace. At the Adoki Amasiamaka Stadium in Rivers State, Rivers United face a stern test against confident Nasarawa United side, determined to maintain their grip on the summit. Still talking football, Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah has called for patience as the club's new signings continue to settle into the team, admitting that the red start of the season has not been ideal. Salah acknowledged that while the squad has been strengthened with quality additions, the process of building understanding on the pitch takes time. Salah was quoted as saying, "I am not happy with this season. It's a tricky season for us, but we have a few new players. They are very good signings, but they need time to adapt to the team." As Global TV News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. On Global TV News Express, federal government has announced plans to release 11.9 billion naira within 72 hours to settle part of the salary and allowances owed to medical professionals. In business, you heard that despite the country's persistent lack of electricity, over 10,000 megawatts of electricity are being wasted across different idle plants scattered across the country. On the foreign scene, British police are investigating a mass shooting aboard a London train on Saturday night. And in sports, Nigeria Premier Football League enters another decisive weekend as two headline fixtures take center stage. And that's it on News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.